Hello, I'm Abra here with another IELTS video, Speaking Part 3. In this part of test, the focus shifts from personal experience to abstract and analytical discussion. And this is where confidence falters. But what if I told you this type of question is deliberately designed not to trick you, but to force you to deliberate upon? In fact, this is your chance to move beyond prepared stories and truly showcase your talent to think, argue, and discuss in English. The core skills that universities and employers are looking for. In this video, we'll dismantle the mystery of Speaking Part 3, and I'll give you a clear thinking framework which will help you transform your approach from hesitant to confident and fluent. We'll also look at strategies, tips, and sample answers to succeed in Part 3. As you know, the time length for this part of test is about 4 to 5 minutes. It's also known as discussion question or maybe two-way discussion question. Generally speaking, it's related to part 2, which is about cue card. You're given a question, you need to prepare for 1 minute, and then you need to speak for 2 minutes. So it's partly related to part 2. In this kind of question, examiner often asks you questions about abstract ideas, opinion-based questions, and analytical questions as well. And the purpose behind asking these type of questions is to test your ability to express opinions, justify your answers, speculate, compare and contrast. Now, let's take a look at types of questions that are often asked in Speaking Part 3. And they are as follows: opinion questions, compare and contrast questions, causes and effects, hypothetical, speculative questions, solutions and suggestions, future predictions. We are going to look at each question in detail in a bit. Let's discuss the strategies that we need to stick to answer this type of question. So I highly recommend to use the S.E.E. technique. S means state your opinion. E, explain your opinion. And then another E for example or evidence. So C should be the technique. You can also use signposting, like in my opinion, and then you can state your opinion. That's mainly because, and then you give your opinion. For example, then you give the example that you want to give. And you need to expand your ideas. Most of the candidates provide just one sentence answer. That's not enough. So whatever opinion or points you make, you need to explain it sufficiently well. And then you need to provide some example. So you need to stick to C method. Give your opinion, explain, expand your answer, give a reason, provide some examples, and then you can expand your ideas by doing so. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to use a range of grammatical structures, such as conditional sentences, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, maybe mixed conditional. You can also use models. You can use different type of sentences, for example, simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. So if you use them all, you're giving an examiner a wide variety of a structure. and you need to stay calm and focused. Let's look at the opinion questions. Yeah, the question could be like this. Do you think it's important for people to read books? Now let's stick here to S.E.E. method, C method or technique. Yes, I believe reading books is very important. Okay, now let's explain this. Let's give a reason why. So it helps people expand their knowledge and improve the imagination. Example, for instance, reading novels allows readers to understand different cultures. Now you can expand your answers like this. Yes, I strongly believe that reading books is extremely important, especially in today's fast-paced world. Reading not only helps people expand their knowledge, but also improves the imagination and critical thinking skills. When people read regularly, they're exposed to new ideas, viewpoints, and ways of thinking, which can make them more open-minded. For example, reading novels or biographies allows readers to understand different cultures, traditions, and life experiences, even if they have never visited those places themselves. This can increase empathy and help people relate better to others. In addition, reading plays a key role in language development. It improves vocabulary, grammar, and overall communication skills, which are essential for both academic and professional success. Overall, I think reading books helps individuals grow intellectually and emotionally, making it a very valuable habit. Another type of question is compare and contrast. Let's look at the question. How is family life today different from the past? Yeah. So, stating your opinion, family life today is more individualistic. Now, explanation. In the past, families were larger and lived together, but now people value independence. Example. For example, many young adults move out early and live on their own. Family life today is much more individualistic compared to the past. In earlier times, families were usually larger and often lived together. An extended family system, where grandparents, parents, and children shared the same household. This created a strong sense of mutual support and shared responsibility. However, in modern society, people tend to value personal freedom and independence more. Many young adults prefer to move out at an early age rather, to study, work, or simply experience life on their own. As a result, nuclear families have become more common and family members may live far apart. This change has both advantages and disadvantages. On the one hand, individuals have more privacy and freedom to make their own decisions. On the other hand, family bonds can sometimes become weaker, and elderly parents may receive less daily support than they did in the past. Overall, family life today is more flexible, but perhaps less close-knit than before. So this is how you can expand your answer. Yeah. So once you stick to C technique, you can expand your answers like this. Now let's have a look at hypothetical questions. What would happen if people stopped using cars? Now S means state your opinion. If people stopped using cars, pollution would decrease dramatically. This is your opinion. Now you're giving explanation or evidence. Cities would become more cleaner and healthier. So you're giving a reason here. Example, or maybe evidence. Public transport systems would probably be expanded to handle extra demand. Now you can expand your answer like this. If people stopped using cars, pollution would decrease dramatically, especially in large cities where traffic is a major source of air and noise pollution. As a result, cities would become much cleaner and healthier places to live, and people might suffer less from respiratory problems and stress-related illnesses. In addition, governments would be forced to expand and improve public transport systems such as buses, metro lines, and trains to cope with the increased demand. This could make public transport more affordable, efficient, and environmentally friendly in the long run. Moreover, cities might be redesigned to be more pedestrian and bicycle friendly with wider pavements, dedicated cycle lanes, and more green spaces. This could encourage people to adopt a more active lifestyle, which would have positive effect on public health. However, it's important to note that completely stopping car use might be unrealistic, especially in rural areas or for people with mobility issues. So, a more practical solution could be reducing car usage and not eliminating it entirely, while promoting clean alternatives like electrical vehicles and public transport. Now, another type of question is causes and effects. Question: why are so many people stressed out in modern society? Okay, so one major reason is work pressure. Many people work long hours and struggle with work-life balance. This leads to mental health issues and lower productivity. Now here is the expanded answer using the S.E.E method. One of the main reasons why many people are stressed in modern society is work pressure. In today's highly competitive world, employees are often expected to work long hours, meet tight deadlines, and constantly improve the performance. As a result, many people struggle to maintain a healthy work-life balance. In addition to this, job insecurity and financial responsibilities add to the pressure, especially in urban areas where the cost of living is high. When people are constantly worried about their careers or income, it becomes difficult for them to relax or switch off from work. Over time, this continuous stress can lead to serious mental health problems such as anxiety, burnout, and depression. It can also reduce productivity, as stressed individuals tend to lose motivation and concentration. It's true that modern life offers many opportunities, but also creates heavy mental strain. Here are some useful phrases that can be used while dealing with questions in speaking part 3. So, for giving opinions, in my view, from my perspective, I'd say that can be made use of. For comparing and contrast, compared to this, and then you can continue your answer. In contrast, and then you can, add your ideas. While A is, okay, B is, so you can use it while comparing and contrasting with two things. For speculating, it is possible that if I had to guess, perhaps in the future, and then you can, continue with your ideas. For explaining something, that's mainly because the main reason is this could be due to. So these are beautiful phrases that can be used while tackling speaking part 3. Let me give you some tips to boost your score. You must practice thinking deeply about topic. Yeah, so it's a good idea to have some topics and think about it. Use fillers naturally. Well, that's a tricky question. Yeah, so you can use fillers that are usually used in natural and normal conversation. It's not a good idea to memorize answers because you don't know the type of questions that can be asked by the examiner. So it's a good idea to memorize phrases but not the answers. And you must speak clearly and at a natural pace. So when you're speaking, your pace should be neither too fast nor too slow. And it's useful to use intonation and pauses for effect. Yeah, and if you practice with a partner or teacher who can listen and give you feedback, it's effective. It's very helpful. Let me give you some questions that you can practice yourself. Like, choose one question and answer using the S.E.E. method, C method. What are the advantages of living in a city? How might technology change education in the future? Is it better to work alone or in a team? Yeah. So you can answer all these three questions using C method or technique. Let me give you some final advice. Think like a speaker, not a student. You should be confident in your opinion. Okay? Somebody might agree or disagree, but if you feel like something, just state your opinion. Say, give your views. As long as you give your opinion based on logic and reason, that's fine. So the examiner is not going to check your opinion, rather the examiner wants to see how you speak, how you put across your ideas. It's very helpful if you learn topic-related vocabulary, like if the theme is environment, it's a good idea to learn some theme-related vocabulary on different topics like environment, technology, sports, food, supermarket, and so on. I would highly recommend you to use a range of sentence types like simple, compound, complex sentences, conditional sentences, passive structure, and so on, according to the situation, if it is the demand of the situation. And it's a good idea to practice with sample questions regularly so that you're in habit of answering the way you need to answer on the day of speaking examination. And please don't forget it. You're being tested on how you speak, not on your opinion. I've already talked about this. Yeah. So you need to show your skills of your speaking. Opinions, whether they are sound or not so sound, do not matter much. But yes, your ability to speak does matter. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you find it useful. Here is the link of my YouTube channel.